El lunes, niños, no dispensen. Y martes, usted y yo vamos a hablar otra vez de otro animal. Vamos a hablar de la vaca. Sí, la vaca. Primeramente, la vaca es un animal muy importante para mí. La vaca es un animal muy importante para mí. Ahora, usted.
La vaca es un animal muy importante para mí.
Bueno, ahora vamos a hablar de por qué. ¿Por qué es importante la vaca? ¿Por qué es importante la vaca? Es importante porque da leche. Escuche. Es importante porque da leche. Otra vez. Escuche. Es importante porque da leche.
Some people react with horror to the idea of teaching by television. They see it as Big Brother regimentation, developing a generation of bug-eyed, weak-willed automatons. Others, however, see classroom TV as an electronic marvel that will solve all school problems from low grades to high taxes. But as Edward R. Murrow pointed out recently, a communication system has no intelligence, no ethics, no morality. Its value rests entirely in the ideas it is called upon to transmit. In this context, we'll see how one Southland city turned to television in an effort to give its citizens a greater return on their taxes. We'll begin in a moment. This modern television control center is the headquarters building of the Anaheim City School District. 40 programs originate here every week. They're fed by closed-circuit cable to 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade classes in 20 schools. This is Frank Robles, getting ready to give a television lesson in Spanish 2 for 5th grade classes. He's going over his material with producer-director John McKenzie and members of the production staff. At the same time, in all the Anaheim 5th grade classrooms, teachers are getting the youngsters ready for what they will soon see on the TV screens. The classroom teachers get the television lesson plan 3 weeks in advance.
Gracias, André. ¿Qué estudiamos hoy? ¿Qué estudiamos, David?
Estudiamos animales.
¿Es verdad, clase?
Sí, es verdad. Estudiamos animales.
Precisely on time, the television lesson begins.
Cue him. Niños, buenas tardes. Bueno, sí, hoy es martes, ¿verdad? Sí, hoy es martes y hoy usted y yo vamos a hablar de muchas cosas aquí en la cocina. Es la cocina, ¿verdad? Sí, es la cocina. Es la cocina. ¿Qué cuarto es? Es la cocina. Sí, es la cocina. ¿Qué es esto?
Es el refrigerador.
Sí, es el refrigerador. Vamos a ver qué más hay en la cocina. Ah, aquí. Vengan conmigo. ¿Qué es esto? Es el reloj, ¿verdad? Es el reloj. ¿Qué es?
Es el reloj.
Sí, es el reloj.
Hey, Senor Robles, how do you do? You know something,
Hugo.
Senor? I want to know one thing. Why you do not like goats? How come you don't like the goats?
Lobo, I have nothing against goats. As a matter of fact, I like goats. Even the niños like goats.
Well-
Niños, why don't you tell Lobo, me gustan las chivas. Chivas, goats. Chivas. Me gustan las chivas. Usted.
Me gustan las chivas. Me gustan las chivas.
There, you see, now even the boys and girls like goats, Lobo. We have nothing against goats.
That's pretty good, but I come here because it's very important for me that the niños love and know all about las chivas. That's why I am here. I represent them.
Now, why, Lobo? Why are they so important to you?
Oh, many, many reasons. So you have to teach the niños the most important things. In South America, people drink milk from the goat. And this is why they have to know about the goat.
All right. Now, but what do you want me to do about it? What can I do about it?
Well, I want you to teach the phrase, brand new one. La chiva es un animal importante para mí también. You got that?
Now, wait a minute. Will you say that again?
I say la chiva es un animal importante para mí también.
La chiva es un animal importante para mí también.
See, that's the one. You teach the niños because it's very important. I am the union representative of the goats.
All right. Niños, now this is very, very simple. The only thing you have to do is change la vaca to la chiva. And it sounds like this. La chiva es un animal muy importante para mí también.
That's very good. You're going to
Wait
get
a minute. They haven't learned it yet.
Well, you learned it. That's important, too.
Now, niños, la chiva es un animal muy importante para mí también. Usted. La chiva es un animal muy importante para mí también.
That's very good.
Bueno.
I have one more great one you have to learn.
Lobo, we just don't have any more time for this.
Oh, you can't have time. It's very important.
All right, one more phrase, and that's it. Then we have to leave.
Listen very carefully.
All right.
Bebo mucha leche de chiva también.
Bebo mucha leche de chiva también.
Sí.
Es muy fácil, niños. Es muy, muy fácil. Escuchen. Bebo mucha leche de chiva también.
Bebo mucha leche de chiva también.
Bueno.
Oh.
Now, Lobo.
It's great, wonderful. Oh, my goat will be so happy. My poor little tiny
Now,
baby.
wait. Lobo.
What's the matter?
Now, why all this interest in goats?
Because I have a surprise. Outside there, I have my baby goat. He's so shy, so tiny, so cute. He's very bashful, and he cries because you talk about the vacas and not about the goats. So, would you do one little favor to show him you love las chivas too?
Oh, Lobo, this I can understand.
You go to the window and you wave to him. Don't talk because you scare him. He's very sensitive, very nervous. He's a tiny little baby.
Oh, you mean you're going to let us watch and see your goat?
You look out the window and you wave like this, and then he'll be happy, okay?
All right.
Sí.
Vamos a la ventana,
Nice
niños.
baby.
Vamos a la ventana.
He's such a baby
Oh,
one.
gracias, Lobo.
Sí.
Ay, vamos a ver.
Importante there.
After each television lesson, the subject is continued by the classroom teacher. The Anaheim system is based on team teaching, with both the studio teacher and the classroom teacher playing essential roles.
Importante a nosotros. Dígame, no miren a su papel, por favor. Lino?
La chiva es muy importante porque da leche también.
Está muy bueno. ¿Le gusta la leche de vaca? ¿Usted, Juan?
Some of these Anaheim youngsters have been taking television teaching for 2 or 3 years each. Let's find out what they think about it. How about you, miss? Do you like it? If so, why?
I enjoy it because in Spanish you get the pronunciation of the words, and in social studies you understand the ways that in the Civil War how bad it was, and in the science the experiments which we can't do regularly here in the class.
You really think there are things you do in television teaching that you couldn't do without it?
Yes.
Because when we can see the movies of how it's done and have experiments that we can't be done at home and in the classroom, and see how it and we can understand better.
Well, now, I assume all of you also watch television at home. Do you look at it any differently since you've been using television in the classroom?
Well, yes, I get more out of television at home since I've watched television in our school.
Why do you think that is?
Well, we get more interesting things, and it just sort of soaks in more.
You mean you select different programs at home?
Yes, I select better programs.
Since you must believe the television you see in school, a teacher is using it to talk to you, do you find that you believe more or perhaps believe less of the things you see on television at home?
Well, for instance, I never knew that the Civil War was such a slaughter until I really saw it on television. I've seen pictures and books, but our television teacher, Mr. Shea, really got it across to us that the Civil War was really a slaughter.
How about you, miss? Do you like this kind of teaching?
Yes, I do, because it helps me learn more, and it helps me know some of the big words that they use.
You learn these better from television?
Yes.
They keep talking about learning more. Do you find that you learn more in teaching by television?
Yes, I do, because it's very interesting, and I've never had an experience with TV at school before.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. We'll see more of this television teaching system when Line of Sight returns in a moment. Anaheim uses television to teach those elementary subjects that can be given to large groups. Social studies, science, Spanish, music. It does not use TV for the basic elementary school skills, such as reading, writing, spelling. These are taught in regular classrooms to small groups. The third grade music lesson has just begun. Let's watch. The teacher is Jean Rose.
Who came and told us a little bit about calypso music. Do you remember the song Tingalio, the calypso song about the little lazy donkey that Calypso Pete taught us? Do you remember that one? Well, I've asked Calypso Pete to come back again today to play the guitar for us as we sing so that we may learn some new things about this song Tingalio. Let's show him how quickly and quietly we can find page 48 in our book. Page 48. Now, let you and I show Calypso Pete how well we can sing this song and how well we've learned to sing our calypso song, Tingalio. And let's do both verses, okay? Ready, sing. Tingalio, come little donkey, come. Tingalio, come little donkey, come. My donkey walk, my donkey talk, my donkey eat with a knife and fork. Tingalio, come little donkey, come. 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 My donkey eat, my donkey sleep, my donkey kick with his two hind feet. Tingalio, come little donkey. Tingalio, come little donkey, come. Tingalio, come little donkey, come.
In another studio, Louis Nevins is teaching 6th grade science.
So we can't see the atoms because they're small. But when we look at something such as this penny we can't see the individual atoms, but we pointed out in our lessons we can see a large crowd of atoms. It's looking at a crowd from a distance. You can see the crowd itself, but you can't see the individual faces that make up the crowd. So let's use our imaginations again this way and look very, very close at the penny. As we move closer and closer, the crowd of atoms that make up the penny might be able to be seen as the individuals that make up the crowd. With our imaginations, if we looked close enough, we could see even the single atoms, the single things that make up the crowd. These individual atoms are held together, one with another. Billions upon billions of these atoms form together as they might form a tiny crystal, and these crowds grow larger and larger, and no longer do we see the individuals, but we see a large crowd, and these crowd together more and more until finally we see a large enough crowd that might look like the penny like I hold in my hand. Well, this leads us to the second idea that we learned in our unit, and that was atoms form together to make molecules. What type of molecule would this be? Hydrogen, oxygen, hydrogen together in a friendship bond, forming a molecule, makes the substance that's very common to us called water. And over here again on this side, as we had in one of our lessons before, I have the demonstration set up by using electricity to separate those two different types of atoms from water. By the way, what do we call this process whereby we use electricity to break up water into hydrogen and oxygen? Most of you are remembering that also, the fact that it is called electrolysis.
This is Robert Shanks, superintendent of the Anaheim City Schools. Mr. Shanks, just how good is this television teaching?
Well, of course, television teaching is good when the people using the medium are good, Bill. It isn't good when the people who are using the medium aren't doing a good job. We have a lot of test results, not only from our own district, but from all over this nation, to show that when television is added to the educational process, boys and girls certainly do learn as much, and very often they learn a lot more. Depends on how well we use this medium.
You talk about adding it to the program. Then you do not consider television teaching a substitute for other kinds?
Definitely not. It's, we like to think of it this way. We have a fine classroom program, and then we add television teaching so that we've added a new and extended dimension to the total learning process, or at least provided a better opportunity for learning.
I'm sure one question you must run into again and again is that of cost. We're so used to thinking of television as a terribly expensive medium. How about as a teaching tool?
That's true. Of course, the costs of television in a school district depend on how you use it and the equipment that you get. The costs can run from a very little to amount to a great deal. Here in our own district, from our general fund operating budget each year for the past 3 years, we have expended about 3 to 3.5% of the budget for the total costs of operating the project. Of course, we bought the equipment from another fund, and that is pretty well paid for now.
Is it an outlay the average district could face with some hope of being able to handle it?
Very definitely it is, if they do it wisely. It might be interesting for me to point out that the cost per pupil, the current cost of educating each pupil in our district last year, for all of the districts in California that are elementary districts and that have over 5,000 pupils in average daily attendance, we had one of the very lowest costs, and we had this project last year.
What do you think the future of this kind of teaching is?
I think it's tremendous if we people in education use it wisely and well. I hope we don't misuse it. I think if it's used well, it extends opportunities for millions of pupils to learn a great deal more. I think the challenge is to us, the teachers and the people in education, and of course to the public that supports public education. There's nothing inherent in the equipment. It's how well we use it.
Is there a great deal of resistance from teachers, from old-line educators?
Well, at first there was a great deal of fear that we were going to have a lot of automation in the teaching process, that maybe television was going to be used to replace teachers. We know in education that this isn't possible. I think that some of those fears have dissipated a great deal. In talking with people around the country who are using television, my impression is that it's being accepted very widely now as a definite medium in education. I think 10 years from now, television may be as common in education as textbooks are.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shanks. The conclusion of this report in just a moment. Classroom television can help to ease some of the enormous growth problems facing California schools, but it cannot solve them. For example, can our educational standards be raised, as they must be, when so much must be done just to keep up with the expanding population? California needs nearly 20,000 new teachers every year. Will we find them? And will they be qualified? How will we change the distorted values that led to the present situation? Shortages of English teachers, math teachers, science teachers, but an oversupply of physical education teachers. And in giving some education to everyone, we've raised the lowest levels of our society, but have we also lowered the highest levels? In short, can a free society have both equality and excellence? Last week...